Hello dear students, welcome back to EduHunt video lecture series. మనము ఇప్పటి వరకు ప్లాంట్ కింగ్డమ్ క్లాసిఫికేషన్ చదువుకొని థాలోఫైటా, బ్రయోఫైటా, టెరిడోఫైటా అంటే క్రిప్టోగ్యామ్స్ని కవర్ చేసాం. సో క్రిప్టోగ్యామ్స్, వాట్ ఆర్ క్రిప్టోగ్యామ్స్? క్రిప్టోగ్యామ్స్ ఆర్ నాన్ ఫ్లవరింగ్, నాన్ సీడ్ బేరింగ్ primitive plants. And now we have entered next plant group, that is Phanerogamae. In Phanerogamae, plants bear seeds. Plants, they produce flowers and seeds. Flowers are the reproductive structures and seeds are the resultants of the sexual reproduction. So let us see what are those phanerogams. If you see the actual phanerogams, phanerogams or phanerogamae, which is divided into Gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms are the two groups of phanerogams. Phanerogams are the group of plants which produce flowers and seeds. Gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are, if you see the term gymnosperms, it has two words. Gymno means naked. Sperm is nothing but, it's not male gamete, it is seed. Seed. Naked seed. Naked seed is nothing but seed is not enclosed by the fruit. So these may be described as non-fruit producing plants. Non-fruit producing because they do not produce fruits. Because of that reason, where the seeds are present actually, these are enclosed in the fruit. Because these are not giving any fruits, they are not producing any fruits. That's why the seeds are not enclosed, they are exposed out. That is why naked, exposed. They are exposed out. The seeds are exposed out because of they lack fruits. But in case of angiosperms, they produce fruits. Because of that reason, seeds are enclosed in fruits. Seeds are enclosed in fruits. And angiosperms are of two types: dicots monocots. Dicots, monocots. Angiosperms are dicots and monocots. Gymnosperms are seed producing plants which are naked. Naked means they are not enclosed by the fruit. Gymnosperms, they do not produce ovary. That is why the fruits are lacking. Let's see the general features of gymnosperms. These are ancient group of plants about 300 BC ago. Theophrastus introduced the term gymnosperms. Who coined the term gymnosperms? Theophrastus. Who is Theophrastus? Theophrastus is the father of botany. Theophrastus. Father of botany. And gymnosperms are plants which bear naked seeds. Just now I mentioned several times that they bear naked seeds. Gymnosperms bear naked seeds. That is, the ovules and seeds that develop from these ovules are fertilization are not enclosed in fruit wall. Because of lack of ovary, if the ovary is there, the ovules are present in the ovary. After fertilization, the ovary, stores some food material and bulges out into a fruit. So, obviously, the ovules, they transform into seeds. They enclose in the fruit. That kind of structure, that is ovary, is not present in the gymnosperm. That is why they do not produce the fruit, and ultimately the seeds are naked, they are exposed out. They act as a bridge between the pteridophyta, that is non-flowering plants, vascular cryptogams, and the angiosperms. Angiosperms are the seed-bearing plants, that is highly evolved plants. So, pteridophyta and angiosperms are bridged by the gymnosperms. Gymnosperms which make a connection between pteridophyta and angiosperms. And gymnosperms are represented by 900 species, of which 500 species are conifers. Conifers, what are conifers? These are a kind of plants. Their shape is like that, cone-like shape. Usually they are seen in colder regions like tundras, Arctic zones. So, sometimes we may find a forest called coniferous forest where this kind of trees are predominant. They include medium-sized trees or tall trees and shrubs. Herbs are absent. Medium-sized trees to tall trees and even shrubs are also seen. And one of the gymnosperms, that is giant tree, tallest tree, sequoia, it belongs to gymnosperms only. Most plants are perennial and woody. That is, they live for several years and they are woody and larger. And plants possess well-developed taproot type of root system. Remember, they have taproot type of root system. What is meant by taproot type of root system? If you take out a plant, if the root if the primary root will be there and it gives out lateral branches, if this kind of root is present, then it is called a taproot. Otherwise, it is called a fibrous root system, where in grass they have a tuft of branches arising from the same region at the base of the stem. So, this tuft is called fibrous roots. In monocots, usually fibrous roots are present. In dicots, taproot type of root system is present. Roots in some genera have fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza. Myco means fungus, rhiza means root. There is an association between a root and the fungus. So these are called mycorrhiza, and example is the pinus tree, in which the roots are associated with some kind of fungi called mycorrhizae. The roots are called mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae is nothing but the association between the root and the fungi. What is the use of this association? It is somewhat like a symbiotic association. This helps in solubilization of minerals in the soil. Because of that association, because of that, the fungi, they make the minerals which are insoluble, they make it soluble. They make them soluble. That is why it becomes easier for the plant to absorb the minerals. And they increase the availability of the nutrients in the surrounding soil. What they increase? The mycorrhiza. While in some others like cycas, small specialized roots called coralloid roots, these are present. These are negatively geotropic and they associate with the nostoc and anabina cyanobacteria, and they are helpful in nitrogen fixation. They fix the bacteria, cyanobacteria, nostoc and anabina. They fix the atmospheric nitrogen. They take up the nitrogen from the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, nitrogen is present up to 78%. More than 70% of atmospheric air is filled with nitrogen, and this nitrogen is not available to the plants because it is in molecular form, gaseous form. They cannot absorb. The plants can't take up the atmospheric nitrogen. But whereas the prokaryotic organisms like bacteria, rhizobium, and even cyanophycean members, cyanobacterial members like anabina, nostoc, these cyanophycean members and even these prokaryotes especially, they have a special mechanism and also enzymes that they absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and they convert the atmospheric nitrogen into some absorbable form like nitrates, ammonia, which can be easily absorbed by the plants. It is associated with nitrogen fixation. The coralloid roots are associated with nitrogen fixation. And vascular tissues are arranged in the vascular bundles. And in most gymnosperms, secondary growth occurs and annual rings are distinct. Distinct annual rings are seen. Secondary growth occurs. What is meant by secondary growth? The linear growth is called the primary growth, and the secondary growth is concerned with somewhat like increasing the diameter. As the plant grows high, it can't withstand the wind currents. For that reason, it starts secondary growth, that is in growing in its diameter. That is called secondary growth. అంటే చుట్టుకొలత పెరగడం. చుట్టుకొలత పెరిగితే ఎప్పుడైతే లావుగా తయారైందో ట్రంక్ ఇట్ క్యాన్ విత్స్టాండ్ ద విండ్ కరెంట్స్. సో గాలి నుంచి అది ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేసుకోగలుగుతుంది. అండ్ ఈవెన్ సమ్ పర్పస్ లైక్ జైలం ఫామ్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. జైలం ఇస్ ఇట్ కండక్ట్స్ వాటర్ అండ్ హైట్ వెళ్ళే కొద్దీ ఈ జైలము ఎఫెక్టివ్గా పనిచేస్తూ ఉంటుంది. So that is the reason. The xylem without vessels, it is very, very important. Xylem lo tracheids, xylem fibers, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma, ivanni kuda xylem lo unde elements, but they lack the vessels. It is a very important point. Even in pteridophytes also, xylem lack vessels, and even the gymnosperms also, the xylem lack vessels. It lacks vessels. Except in neetales. Neetum loni neetales, it's an order in which the neetum is present. Neetum lo vessels untai, though it belongs to gymnosperm, it has vessels. It's an exceptional case. So put a star over there. Remember it. Phloem lacks companion cells. I mentioned phloem and xylem are the vascular tissue. Xylem lacks vessels, whereas in phloem cells are there, seed tubes, companion cells, seed fibers, and phloem parenchyma. These are the 5 elements present actually in a developed plant, in a higher plant. But in case of gymnosperms, xylem lacks vessels and phloem lacks companion cells. In presence of companion cells, they have a specialized cells called albuminous cells. They serve the function of companion cells. We'll discuss later about that. The stems are unbranched. For example, cycas. If you see a cycas plant, I'll show pictures of gymnosperms in the next upcoming video. And unbranched cycas, the crown of leaves arise from the tip of the stem, but the branching is not seen. Or sometimes in some examples like pinus and cedrus, branching is seen. The stems may be branched or unbranched. In cycas, the stems are not branched, but in pinus and cedrus, the stems are branched. The leaves may be simple or compound. So in cycas, pinnately compound leaves, like pinnately compound ante, they resemble the feather of a bird. Birds ki feathers untai kada, feathers ante main rachis will be there at the center, and on both sides the venules comes. Like that, there will be a mid-axis that is called rachis, and from the sides the what we call the leaflets emerge on both sides of the rachis. So pinnately compound leaves and persist for a few years. The leaves, the pinnate leaves persist for few years. The leaves in gymnosperms are well adapted to withstand extremes of temperatures and humidity and wind. That is xerophytic condition. They are well adapted to survive even in dry environments, that is xerophytic conditions. In conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. Coniferous leaves, నేను ఇందాక మెన్షన్ చేశాను కదా, trees ఇలా ఉంటాయి conifers అని. So in this kind of trees, the leaves are needle-like. మీరు casuarina అని చూసే ఉంటారు కదా, సరుగుడులో లీవ్స్ ఎలా ఉంటాయి, ఇలా సిలిండ్రికల్ గా నీడిల్ లా ఉంటాయి కదా, అలాగే ఇక్కడ కూడా నీడిల్ లాగా లీవ్స్ ఉంటాయి. అండ్ దే రెడ్యూస్ ద లీవ్ సర్ఫేస్, చాలా తక్కువ సర్ఫేస్ ఉంటుంది. తక్కువ సర్ఫేస్ ఉండడం వల్ల అండ్ ఈవెన్ థిక్ క్యూటికల్ అండ్ సంకెన్ స్టొమాటో, ఆల్ దీస్ ఆర్ ద అడాప్టేషన్స్ ఆఫ్ జీరోఫిటిక్ ప్లాంట్స్. అంటే జీరోఫిటిక్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ లో బెటర్ గా పర్ఫార్మ్ చేయడానికి అవి తెచ్చుకున్న అడాప్టేషన్స్. వన్ ఈస్ నీడిల్ లైక్ లీవ్స్, and second is thick cuticle, and third is sunken stomata. Stomata are not actually exposed out, they are hidden in some grooves and behind the epidermis. That's why they can't lose more water. To prevent water loss, because they are present in dry environments like deserts, to cope up with the loss of water or to prevent the extreme loss, that is transpiration, they have this kind of adaptations. The gymnosperms are heterosporous. They produce haploid microspores and even megaspores also. Heterosporous means production of 2 different types of spores. Smaller spores are called the microspores and large spores are called megaspores. Anyway, in the next session, we'll discuss the remaining part of the general characteristic features of gymnosperms. Goodbye.